I'll just get me to a goddamn plane.
Welcome to the Review, a show where two small-town dudes give you our big, explosive opinions. I am Troy to the max extreme.
I am JT3Kai.
Today, we are hitching a ride
I'm going to have a southern voice this whole time.
on our WW2 bandwagon here.
Yeah.
We're gonna
fill in the gap between our World War II review and our shitty movie review.
We found one right in the middle, which is the 3 hour and 3 minute long
Jesus.
Pearl Harbor, which we just finished with our significant others.
We watched enough of it.
And we thought we'd give what we thought about this movie to you.
Yeah.
My God.
This is your first time watching
This
it,
is
Troy.
the first time I've ever seen it.
I'm really curious on your thoughts.
Well, we'll get there, won't we?
Oh yeah. I'm sure it's right at that Saving Private Ryan level.
Yeah, tear jerker. 6 times I cried during this.
Well, it's long enough. You probably could have cried 6 times.
Hit you with some facts right off the top. Came out May 25th, 2001. A fact that we looked
Summer
up
release
during the movie.
Yeah, because we wondered if it was offensive enough to probably not be made after 9/11.
Yeah. With a budget of $132.2 million.
Jesus.
Yeah. Domestically made $198.5 million. Worldwide, $449.2
Well, made it back.
Made it back.
Made it back.
With advertising.
Almost got that half bill.
Almost got it. Rotten Tomatoes has this at 25%. IMDb has it at a 6.1 out of 10. And The Nut Gallery gives it 2 out of 5 stars.
Oh. Some hard nuts to crack.
I know. That comes in at, 40%?
About.
Oh, boy. This movie did win an Oscar for Best Sound Editing.
Good for them.
The ones that aren't televised? I can't remember if this one is or not. So, yeah, those are all my stats right up top, JT.
Well, Troy.
Oh, boy.
It's going to beat you to the punch. What happened in Pearl Harbor?
Well, Pearl Harbor starts out at the tail end of World War I with 2 little young tykes wanting to really fly a plane. And those 2 little tykes grow up to be Josh Hartnett and Ben Affleck.
They offend their World War I fighting father that beats them.
Right. He's beating the shit out of one so bad. But as soon as they bring up...
Beat you up, you damn German! German? I fought those Germans.
Yeah, as soon as
Don't call me a German, that's offensive.
Yeah. Then for whatever reason, music swells and he's a fine dad. He just kicked the shit out of one of them.
He's beat the shit out of one of them.
And it looked like he was going for blood.
Yeah. If it wasn't for young Josh Hartnett, or no, young Ben Affleck beating him with a 2x4 and calling him a German, he probably would have killed his son.
He did a bad thing that day.
Call me a German? I fought those Germans. I'm gonna go cry now.
I'm
gonna resort from not beating my son to crying.
Excuse me. 3 hours.
Yeah.
They end up growing up together and joining the military, or being drafted into the military. No, they wouldn't have been drafted at this point. But they
volunteered at this point.
They joined the military, both into the Navy. I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or Air Force. I know. Well, Ben Affleck's whole thing is that he goes into the British Air Force.
Mm-hmm.
Because he volunteers.
Because he's such a good pilot.
Yeah, because he's like, I can't wait. I can't wait for the war to come to me. I want to come to the war.
Right. All right. So he gets that. Josh Hartnett stays back home. There's a big love kerfuffle going on.
With Kate Beckinsale.
They're all stationed off in Hawaii. Thinking they're going to catch some waves, pick up a tan here or there.
Little do they know.
Little do they know.
That
Pearl Harbor.
that the non-building owning Japanese are about to attack.
Yes.
They do not own a building to save their lives. They have to hold all of their meetings outside.
I found a fact about that, JT. Here it is.
Okay.
The Japanese journalists were extremely offended by the fact that the army is shown having meetings outside. Meeting outside is considered to be uncivilized and barbaric in Japan. There are so many times in this where every single meeting of the Japanese...
Every Japanese meeting takes place outside.
...was just outside.
Yeah.
In the open air, kids flying kites feet away.
Yes.
Mere inches.
They don't have conference rooms, they have conference gardens that they have ships set up in like koi ponds where they're strategizing
You would think
attacks.
top secret information just outside.
Yeah, outside in a park. We don't have conference buildings, we have conference parks.
So I found it weird that they consider that uncivilized and barbaric. I mean, I think being outside is nice.
Yeah.
I just find it more odd that these are classified things, I'm assuming, being talked about in a mere garden.
Yeah.
Just a guy raking the sand right next to
Yes.
him.
Writing instructions in sand. I can only imagine that. They have buildings. They show they have buildings when they bomb it at the end.
That's true.
Japanese people own buildings. Let them plan in buildings, Micheal Bay.
The one building that they're actually seen inside looks like a hotel room.
Yeah. And I think it's at a hotel room in Hawaii that the guy is setting up the most unconvincing hidden camera ever. He's holding a briefcase with a big lens on the end. It's like, oh yeah, that's not a spy camera at all. And they have to
Just a button.
yeah, and they have to have like brooding Japanese whoo as he's like taking pictures of battleships.
Oh my god.
Oh, Micheal Bay.
This and then Pearl Harbor happens. That takes a good chunk of the movie. I think that's like 40 minutes of the movie.
Yeah,
right
there's like
there.
a 40. I want to say that I heard that they like tried to like film it to like how long the actual attack was, because the attack wasn't that long. I think it was like 40 minutes to an hour long.
I was gonna say this movie felt longer than real Pearl Harbor.
It was. It was.
And then the movie isn't finished after that, because after Pearl Harbor is done,
They have to show the fucking Doolittle raid.
they do the Doolittle raid after that, and there you go. That's pretty much
That's the whole fucking
that's
movie.
the movie right there. I mean, this movie came out 17 years
2001.
ago.
Yeah, you're
so
fine. You don't give a shit. If you haven't seen it by now, good.
This movie was a lot better to watch with friends.
Yes.
With drinks.
Yes, I am drunk right now, and I am looking back at this movie much more fondly than I would have if I was laying in bed watching it like I did Noise.
I'm gonna say right now that this may be the most Micheal Bay-est movie I've ever seen. And like I've
Yes.
seen the Transformers movies, but like
Yeah.
I think this out Micheal Bay's those.
I know, and this is like based on an actual event.
Yeah.
But he
Really
finds a
weird.
way to out Micheal Bay it past giant robots being racist.
I mean, maybe if there was just a slight more sheen over everybody, like everyone just kind of looks wet and sweaty all the
There
time.
was lens flares in the cab of a train. Why?
I don't know.
Why do you need to have lens flares while people are talking in the stagecoach of a train?
There were some shots, like right as this movie was starting, I'm like, that is a Micheal Bay shot. That is a Micheal Bay shot.
Yeah. Micheal Bay has a way of just doing wide sweeps over nothing happening. There's like
Yeah.
there's like a crop duster that's landing and he's like, ooh, right in. Look at this crop duster.
That and accompanied by a Hans Zimmer score, which I don't think is terrible, but they use it a lot.
Oh, yeah.
The one big musical swell that they do
Yeah, it's
throughout
like,
the first
I feel
40 minutes of
yeah,
this
Hans
movie.
Zimmer had like a day, and they were like, all right, Hans, we'll just take what you did and do it non-fucking stop.
Yeah, I have heard this theme a lot when I was like on a soundtrack kick for a while.
Yeah.
It would come on, I'm like, this is kind of a nice... It's a nice a theme.
How nice was it after hearing it 40 times?
100,000 times. I was getting pretty sick of it, I want to tell you that, to be honest. But there were so many times this music would swell, I'm like, I don't know if I can hear the dialogue in this.
Yeah.
It is like deafening in its weird, like, dramatic slowness. I'm like, I don't know. Anyway.
Well, you don't need to hear any dialogue in this, because I think I always make the joke that Pearl Harbor takes place in a world where everyone speaks in one-liners.
Mm-hmm.
Like, nobody ever says anything of substance. It's just like, moving sentence.
Yeah. Dramatic angle.
These are for the Raiders.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not like a real conversation ever had, I don't think, in this. They're just people telling each other things.
I know, even like they try and do like the meet cute with Ben Affleck and Kate Beckinsale when they're doing like their whole backstory, which I love that you guys pointed out that they've literally known each other for the total of 2 days. Not even, because they like meet up that night after knowing each other for a day.
Yep.
After he does his physical with her. And it's like, oh, I'm going to Britain. And she's like, no, I want to fuck you.
Right.
And he's like, no, I'm not going to fuck you. I'm going to go to Britain.
I'm a gentleman.
I'm a gentleman. I'm not going to bang you before I leave for Britain.
Right. Yeah, and then she's all butthurt about it and lovelorn and all that. And then...
So much so that she doesn't do anything for 3 months.
Right.
Anything.
Right.
Like, people even say, like, she's been in her room for 3 months.
Yeah. Well... that's just that's love, man.
Man, Ben Affleck.
When it bites you,
yeah.
You never know when it comes.
There you go. That dragon tattoo just really got her.
Also, I also like that the fact that early on in this movie, it's set to be that Ben Affleck is either illiterate or dyslexic.
Yeah.
And they abandon that very quickly.
Yes, he writes the most poetic love notes to Kate Beckinsale when he's in Britain.
Like,
I was like, oh, yeah, we'll just...
C. Danger brought that up when he was, like,
oh my
lovelorn in Britain, and he was writing these poetic things.
I know.
And this is her quote exactly. I wrote it down when she said it. Didn't he have problems with words and writing? Quote, C. Danger.
They even do a thing where, like, he almost doesn't pass his eyesight exam because he can't read letters.
Yeah.
He doesn't know letters.
Right. But not.
But now he's writing serenades to Kate Beckinsale now that he's in Britain.
Yeah. So as the action continues, they eventually get to... You can see both sides planning strategies. You get to see the American side, the Japanese side, and all this kind of stuff. And I found this very funny because... Let me just read what I wrote here. I like how literally the Pearl Harbor general says, our waters are too shallow for torpedoes, and we grouped our units together for easy protection. Then the Japanese were like, we slightly changed our torpedoes for shallow water, and they grouped their shit together so we can hit them all at once. Literally minutes away from each other.
It's like they're like bugging each other.
It is the next scene. Well, after all the American people are like, no, we have all these things. Like, they'll never get subs down here. Our waters are too shallow. And, like, fucking the Japanese are like, I'm going to put this one easy thing on a torpedo to make it go in shallow water.
Yeah, I'm going to put wood on it.
Yeah.
I'm going to put some wood on it, and now it can work in shallow water.
And now I don't even... Just seeing it, the water wasn't that shallow.
No.
I don't see why they would have any issues with torpedoes.
Our top Japanese scientists have just realized that wood floats. So, I think we have a chance to hit them with the shallow water.
And then I thought when the general said, "No, we grouped all of our stuff together, so it'll be easy to protect." I'm like, that is the dumbest idea I've ever heard in my life.
I know.
Because Japanese even say, like, these people are pretty dumb. They grouped all their shit together.
This movie is made for, like, dumb people to watch to be like, that's not a good idea. And then when it's revealed that it's not a good idea, they're like, oh my God, I should...
Ya.
Guys, I think I should be a 5-star general. I figured this shit out right away.
Oh my God. So turns out it wasn't a good idea.
It wasn't a good idea.
Pearl Harbor now happens for the next 40 minutes of the movie, which is pretty actiony, intense.
That's why
explosive.
That's why we should all listen to Dan Aykroyd. He's so smart.
He's not. Listen, his conspiracies are true.
Yeah,
they're truths, really.
This guy predicted Pearl Harbor. Who knows what he knows? So much more. Aliens are probably on their way. We should all listen to Dan.
Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, they're gonna attack Pearl Harbor again. We should all listen to Dan Aykroyd.
John Voight plays good old FDR in this.
Oh my God! Please, please tell the story of FDR.
So
FDR Google search.
So. During this movie, I had to ask because I knew one part in it was that at one part FDR stands up in this to address a boardroom, and I'm like, did that happen for real or is it just from this movie? So I literally had to Google, did FDR stand up to make a point? Turns out, nope. Had polio. But upon further research, I have a more legitimate answer than that.
Okay.
He also would have never laid on the fact that he had polio. Because he tried to hide it as much as he could.
Yeah. He would, like, go out of his way to, like, hide the fact that he had polio.
Yeah.
But he's, like, fucking parading that shit.
Right. Yeah.
He's even, like, fucking, like, George got polio. Don't touch me.
Yeah. Like, he would... I was reading things where his assistant would, like, usher people out of the room and help them into, like, a chair. So when people arrive back in, it looks like he got up, walked around, made drinks, and then sat in a chair for all the other guests to arrive and shit like that.
Yeah.
And if, like, anybody snapped a picture of him, like, in a wheelchair, his Secret Service would go out and rip the film out of their cameras. Like, that type shit. So,
and he's like...
He would not openly tell people, back when I had use of my legs.
Yeah, he is all about, like, I'm a cripple. Don't touch me, George. I'm going to stand up to prove a point. With my big braces on.
Don't touch me, damn it. I'm trying to be a big tough guy. Yeah. So that was at least 20 minutes of this movie. I was looking all up FDR stuff.
Micheal Bay is just like, we got a crippled president. Let's use him.
Let's use it to the max.
Yeah.
What? Let me see. What else I got here?
Well, one of my favorite things that I looked up when I was looking at IMDb facts is that the Japanese were super pissed because they totally portray acts of violence against innocent people in this. Mm-hmm. Where, like, they shoot up a hospital, which they even state that the Japanese never did because one of their strict orders was to not fire on innocent civilians.
Right.
And these go out of their way to just fire on
fire
the most innocent of hospitals. They're like blowing up hospitals, shooting at people near hospitals. And then when they asked Micheal Bay about it, he said, "Well, I thought it'd be more barbaric, so I did it." Like,
Jesus,
you're tackling a real event.
Yeah, and I don't know. He painted the Japanese. Granted, this was a time where they weren't really cool. The Japanese bombing Pearl Harbor and all that kind of stuff. But he even painted them in like a way that I'm like, this seems uncouth.
He tries to like devise like a way to get out of it where like he has like the main Japanese general be like, I don't know, this might be a bad idea. But then it's like, but you're kind of portraying them like weird, like outdoor people. Like you're just like they're not like
outdoor people.
Like they're just like they're always like congregating in these weird parks with banners and Japanese everywhere.
Yeah.
And they're like always like building these giant models of ships where they can like move them with sticks and be like, yes, we like being in these parks and making war plans. And then they're always doing like shit where they're like, every time they show them, they play this weird like Japanese whistle like brooding music where it's like, and it's just like boom, 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 like big drums and like big whistles where like the guys like photographing shit where they're like always like being like very shifty eyed where you're like, I don't think Micheal Bay likes Japanese people all that much. Even though he's like giving himself an out with like this one guy that's like, we shouldn't attack America, they're so powerful.
Yeah, to me, none of that really needed to be in this movie.
No!
Because everybody knows Pearl Harbor happens.
Yes!
It's a movie about Pearl Harbor.
You don't need to establish a bunch of dudes getting together in a park
no.
talking about how we're gonna bomb Pearl Harbor, because guess what? We know Pearl Harbor gets bombed!
You could cut all that out. You would save a little bit of
you would save some of the 3
Japanese
fucking hours that we're watching this shit.
Another thing you could cut is Cuba Gooding Jr.
Oh my
Worthless
god!
in this movie.
Yes,
all of his stuff was shoehorned in. Granted, he does play a real life person who wins like a Medal of Honor or some high
he wins a Navy Cross.
Navy Cross, that's what it is.
But then I even read that like 2 years later he dies. In like some kind of like like he's like on a battleship and he dies.
Like I'm on the fence of whether or not he even needed to be in this, because like he doesn't do anything to elevate this movie whatsoever. Yeah. Granted, that's cool that he's an actual character, because Ben Affleck and
Josh Hartnett.
I keep wanting to say Matt Damon. I know it's not right.
Yeah.
They're not real people. They don't portray real people.
I guess Ben Affleck is based off of a real guy, but the only real thing about him was that they based him off a guy that got 34 total kills in Pearl Harbor. Other than that, nothing else about Ben Affleck and him are the same. They just asked if Ben Affleck was based on somebody, and they said this guy.
Yeah.
So it makes the fucking sense.
Yeah. I don't know why they needed to stick so close to shoehorning Cuba in this.
Because he's, not to sound offensive, he's the Tolkien Black scenes. Because everyone in here is just a white person that's just like, we're fighting the good fight. And then they have to bring in the one black dude who's a cook that steps up and shoots down the Japanese planes. Right. And then all of a sudden, oh my god, see, look, everyone of every minority is helping out here. Right. And
we have all
fighting
of them.
Fighting the good fight.
Black
Cuba Gooding Jr.
People? That's all of them.
Yeah. We have all these white people fighting the good fight and this black guy that found a machine gun and shot a plane down. Or it's like,
it's the
Jesus
just
Christ,
including that makes it offensive to
me. It's like, oh, well, they're gonna complain if I don't put them in here.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
It's like it's
they even
unnecessary.
Like that stupid boxing scene they put in there where it's like Josh Hartnett bets on him, where it's like, I bet he's gonna beat that giant mechanic of a mammoth of a man. I bet he beats him. Why? Why would you think that? He's like 4 times his size.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I got a feeling about him. And then he beats him and he's like, see, look, I'm not racist.
Oh my god, Micheal Bay.
Fuck you, Micheal Bay. Even when you're not trying to be racist, you're more racist.
I don't know. I got really nothing else to say about this movie. Like, there's a whole love triangle thing. If you didn't know, Ben Affleck goes off to Britain to fight over there, and then Josh Hartnett and Kate Beckinsale are at home, and
he gets shot down. And they think he's dead.
Right. Turns out.
And then her and Josh Hartnett fucking in parachutes.
Yeah, she ends up carrying his baby. Then Ben Affleck comes back from the dead. He shows up. He's like, oh, I was in France or whatever.
I'm so pissed you're fucking my girlfriend, even though people thought I was dead for 3 months.
Right. So now I'm here.
And even though I knew her for 2 days.
Yeah. Now I'm here. I want you back. Turns out, can't have it. It's a whole big old thing. I didn't care about any of this. This movie is, for being like this big, the only emotional thing that I even got out of this movie is when, like, the aftermath of actual Pearl Harbor, when they're trying to, like, save people from drowning and stuff.
Like, the ship stuff was pretty good. Like, the battle itself was pretty well shot. Like, there's a fuck ton of explosions.
Yeah.
Like, even, like, read that, like, up to this point, this was, like, the Guinness Book World Record holder for a film that includes the most explosions.
Jesus Christ.
But, I mean, it was all shot pretty well, and, like, it was pretty devastating, especially, like, all of, like, the battleship stuff where, like, that one scene where they're trying to, like, break people loose, and there's, like, water spurting through the hole with, like, hands coming out, and they're, like, slowly dying, where you're like, okay, that's pretty fucking rough to see.
Yeah.
But beyond that, it's like Michael Bay's just trying to do some bullshit-ass fucking love triangle story
right.
that no one cares about.
No.
Like, you're just... You got Josh Hartnett who acts like a doofus, and you got fucking Ben Affleck who can't read, trying to fuck some nurse that's just... I don't know, like... I feel like this movie's sexist, too, because all the women in this are just horny nurses.
Hey, nurses can be horny, too.
I know they can be horny, but then it's like their only motivation is, I want to fuck a man. I want to fuck a military man.
Yeah.
Like, none of them are like, hey, let's do some good. Let's try and do this. Like, they're all like their job is their second priority. Their first priority is fucking a military man.
Well, for a minute there, I think the guys are worse off because they're like, I'm going to bag me a nurse. And all the nurses are talking on that train saying like, yeah, these guys are coming on to me, so I just inoculated them 40 times.
Yeah.
So,
I almost killed them with fucking medicine.
So, like, back off, dude. So, like, that didn't bother me at all. Everybody's just horny.
When Pearl Harbor happens and they're just, like, breaking out these boxes of things. Like, I brought that line where it's like, give everyone all the medicine. It's just like, they're just throwing boxes of medicine out in the middle of nowhere. Just give them all of this. Shoot them up with everything.
I also found it funny, too. Like, when all the shit was going down, all the I guess, patients that were already there, they're cutting them loose of all their, like, casts and all that thing to cover them up with, like, their shitty hospital mattresses.
Yeah.
For, like, one bomb to hit, and then they're like, ooh, good, called that one close.
All right, get back in your beds. Like, you don't think there's another bomb that's gonna hit?
For me, it was I found it weird that, like, they knew a bomb was coming, I guess.
It's Kate Beckinsale. She knows all this shit.
I guess that's true. I didn't think about it that way.
They have all these people walking to the hospital that are just covered in, like, black soot. And just screaming. And then she's just like, Kate Beckinsale is supposed to be the one that's like, determine which ones are fatal. Mm-hmm. And it's like, she has no training. What does she know?
She's a nurse. I would assume she's
got a nurse,
training.
but it's like, everyone else besides her seems incompetent. Like, even Jennifer Garner is just like, I don't know what to do. Like, everyone is just like scurrying around her, not knowing anything. And then they put her in charge of like, okay, Kate Beckinsale, you're in charge of determining who's fatal and who can be saved. So she's like out in the outside the hospital, just like putting F's and like morphine and like on people's foreheads. Like what has she done where she's like, okay, I know you're gonna die, I know you're gonna live.
Nah, I don't care about any of that.
It's just.
To be fair, though, I didn't care a lot about anything in this movie. So
yeah, but that was like struck me as like a total like, look how skilled she is. She knows if you're gonna die.
Maybe she does. Maybe she does, man.
I don't know. It was so weird. There was so many things put in this where like Michael Bay was like, make it so that she's like determining who lives and dies, you know. So like feminists don't give me shit. Because then they'll be like, oh, well, you know, she did that shit where she was, like, doing her job as a nurse, so they'll be like, oh, yeah, she's a good chick.
She's a good one.
Yeah. I guess, I don't know, just, like, this makes it where, like, women barely do anything in this.
Yeah, that's true. After all of the whole Pearl Harbor thing happens, there's like the little aftermath of that where then they get assigned to a secondary mission.
Yeah.
Top secret.
This did not need to be in here.
Not at all.
It's so fucking long, and they only put it in there so that they could fucking kill Danny.
They didn't need to do. They could have killed him at Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't.
This make it a thing. Like, they wanted to. This movie wanted to be so much of like but America fought back. Like, you're even saying in the same sentence of America fought back that this is less than a minuscule amount of like the damage of Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
But it's like, but we dropped like 6 bombs on a factory in Tokyo, so now we're winning.
I don't even think that battle did anything.
No, it was just like like the Doolittle raid is an actual thing, but it was not that big of a deal.
No.
Like Micheal Bay just wanted a thing in here where it's like, but America won in the end. America wins. They don't. I mean, they win World War II, but that's World War II. You're just pointing out a small raid that happened after Pearl Harbor to get our bearings back that barely did anything.
If anything, they should have just cut it after Pearl Harbor attack, had Danny die there, because you still could have the same. You would probably have more emotional resonance from this, because all this shit happened. Everyone was involved.
Yeah.
The whole 3-party love triangle is involved.
Yes.
With their close friends already there.
You don't have to have Kate Beckinsale in some weird, like, room where she's, like, listening to the dude that she held the artery closed of. Right. Be like, something's happening, I'll be back. And then he's just, like, opening this door where, like, fucking Ben Affleck's, like, yelling shit through a radio.
Yeah. None of it. I wasn't into this at all, because I'm not a history buff, but I know about this, and I knew that it was like minuscule in its retaliation. I'm like, just show the A-bomb parts.
Yeah, there you go.
Like, I really thought they were gonna jump like 2 years ahead in the future and be like, well, we got something for you, boys.
Oh God,
you're gonna go on the Enola Gay or whatever it is. And I'm like, oh my God, are they going there? And they didn't. But I'm like, they could have just ended after Pearl Harbor, and then like they just show like the spinning newspaper, and it's like, we win.
Yeah, pretty much.
Or whatever. And then
Doolittle raids ends World War II. We won. No nuclear war. We didn't actually drop a nuclear bomb and kill a bunch of innocent people.
Right.
We're still good guys.
Right. Mission accomplished.
Yeah, Japanese shot up a bunch of innocent people, even though that didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, it would have cut on runtime. It would have really, I think, made for a better, tighter ending. But, like, that whole last chunk was, like, unnecessary to the max.
Yeah. This whole movie is just...
unnecessary to the max.
It's like, it's almost... this movie is borderline American propaganda.
A bit.
Like, it makes us seem like such a... Like, we're just this innocent party where it's like, we didn't do anything wrong. They just bombed us out of nowhere. And then we just fought back with a small thing, and then we ended up winning in the end. Like, no. First of all, we were supplying everyone that was attacking Japan, so it had more than enough reason to attack us. And then when they did attack us, then we got all butthurt about it and then declared war, and then fast forward like 3 years into the future, we drop a cataclysmic, like, fucking catastrophe of a bomb.
Twice.
That murders, like, almost 7 times the amount of people that were killed on Pearl Harbor. Mm-hmm. So don't say that, like, Pearl Harbor was a disgrace, but we fought back, and then we did it in the most graceful way possible. No, America's full of shit. We fucked Japan up.
Yeah.
And the only reason they don't hate us anymore is because we gave them enough money that they're like now one of the most technologically advanced countries in the world. That's it. Beyond that, we are fucking dicks to Japan.
Not only did that happen, but we also had internment camps for Japanese people.
Yes, we
which
did.
Is very much glossed upon.
We are fucking assholes when it comes to Japanese people. And Michael Bay is just like, nah, fuck them.
Yeah.
We're going to make this movie where they look like shifty-eyed, outside-dwelling people with no buildings that do meetings in parks.
I don't know. Like, so I know we have some like overseas listeners in this, and I'm going to tell you right now, like going through school, World War II is pretty much taught very cut and dry in this.
Yeah.
Like Hitler was bad.
Yeah.
Everyone rallied against Hitler, and then America joined after Pearl Harbor.
Yes.
And then it all come to a head. America had to stop it, drop the bombs on Nagasaki and Hiroshima.
Yeah.
And then that's the end of the war. And then everybody is fine.
Yep.
That's how it's taught. Grade school, junior high, you get a little more info in that. But I don't think I ever learned about like the Japanese internment camps until after like high school.
They don't talk about that shit at all.
They bury that shit. Like
they do.
And it's probably the same anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like anybody's history, like the winners get to write history. So like I get it, but still it's like, oh my god, that really happened. And like you don't even like, even Thanksgiving, which we just had, like is like for a moment in time, like the native people of America and like the settlers had like one brief little moment where they could get along, but it was mostly just like smallpox blankets wiping out the native people, and it's like horrible shit. And like it's taught that like like the Pilgrims and native people were like friends.
Yeah.
And they sat down with a cornucopia and like pumpkins and squash aplenty.
Yeah.
And it's like, this never happened.
Yeah, trust us. We'll never do the Trail of Tears, Native Americans.
It's fucked up.
I love how this episode has now turned into a Fuck America episode.
Like, and just the history books. Like, teach your kids what happened.
Yeah.
Let them know that evil is everywhere,
I feel like Trump is going to black bag us tomorrow.
Anyway, Pearl Harbor sucked. That song in Team America is right. Pearl Harbor sucked, and I love you.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I don't know. It's not the worst movie I've ever seen, but I didn't feel anything after the credits started.
It's definitely like, if a dictator were to take over America tomorrow, Michael Bay would be the Joseph Goebbels of the U.S.
We are really pulling on like
this
history
is really
and political stuff.
Yeah, this is really like Michael Bay is like really fucking ignoring everything wrong with what happened in World War II in America, and like at least with Saving Private Ryan, like he did it from an extent where it's like war is fucked.
Yeah.
War
well,
in
this
general,
wasn't Michael Bay either.
Yeah,
it was
no, Steven Spielberg, Saving Private Ryan. It was seen through the eyes of war is fucked in general. Right. Everyone does bad things.
Right.
This Pearl Harbor with Michael Bay was just like, the Japanese are so mean. Like they are just looking for reasons to attack us.
Right.
And they don't own buildings.
Right.
and like
they'll shoot up hospitals.
Yeah, they will shoot up hospitals and innocent people because they are just these savage people. Evil people. Where you're like, Jesus Christ, Michael Bay. You were like flying the flag in the most wrong ways possible.
What would you grade it?
God. I mean, I feel like it's almost not fair because I had so much fun making fun of it being drunk. Maybe a C- because some of the action scenes were fun, but yeah, this movie is flawed in so many ways.
Yeah, it's overlong.
Yeah.
There's unnecessary parts that easily can be cut out.
Yeah.
He rewrites history a bit in this. The emotional impact in this is null. I would probably give this a D.
Yeah.
There are fun action scenes in it, and they're shot pretty well, but otherwise, there's nothing else to this movie.
It's bad.
Yes. So I can't wait to watch God.
Can't wait to watch God.
God damn it. Well, anyway.
Well, Troy.
People want to rewrite history with you, JT. Where can they do so?
Find me at Bucky Fern on Twitter, also Bucky Fern on Instagram, here at Bucky Fern on Snapchat. Troy, I don't think I said a single word there.
I got it.
Okay, good. I've got hiccups now.
You can find me at Short of the Max. You can find us both at Review Pod on Twitter. You can all find all of our new episodes up on Facebook.com/ReviewReviewPod if you like. You can find all of our new stuff up on ReviewReviewPod.podbean.com. But if that's not where you want to listen to us, that's fine. Because we're on a slew of other things, such as Stitcher, Spotify. We're on Google Podcasts. Shoot, we're probably on Alexa devices.
Shoot.
We're on YouTube. People forget we're there. Not a lot of views on YouTube.
No,
but that's all right.
I looked through it the other day, and there was like, I think the episode with the most views had 4.
Yeah, it's just another outlet out there for you. If you just find us on there, why not? Huh?
Yeah, why not?
Why not? If you got something long form to say, you can do so at reviewreviewpod@gmail.com. That's the show, JT.
Right on.
Cool.
Next week we got Gaddy.
See how that goes.
Yeah, we'll see. God, I haven't even dipped my pinky toe into it yet, and I'm scared to. I'm scared to even do so.
But
after this, we're gonna get some good stuff.
Oh yeah, yes.
We're gonna dive into our more what we missed in 2018.
I can't wait for that.
I am looking forward to it. I've already got my. Oh God damn it!
Jesus, you are
I got hiccups
dying
out
here.
The fucking ass. I've already got my pick, and I think I've told you already that I'm pretty sure it's gonna make you cry.
Wonderful, I love it.
Yeah,
I'll after Gotti, I'm gonna definitely be making a list. If not, maybe tomorrow.
Gotcha.
Just set it up for things that I need to see before the end of the year.
Right on.
But that's pretty much going to be this show for this Monday morning.
Yeah.
So join us Thursday for a full ep
of Gotti,
and the news that would be this last week. Until then, I have been Troy to the Max Extreme,
JT3K,
and we are off.